All right, what's up guys? I'm John, the lead designer at Dara Holsters and Gear for all of our new products. We're gonna talk specifically about the level 3 today.
I'm Jacob Horton. I'm a police officer. Been doing that for the last 13 years or so. I'm currently assigned to our training division, and I work as a part-time as our SWAT commander for our SWAT team.
Cool. So we gave Jacob a level 3 holster to beta test and try out. So I have not heard his feedback yet. So we figured we'd get this interaction over to you guys. So Jacob, what do you think of the product that we got to you?
I think it's a good product. I think some of the things that I would like improvement on is this initial button to drop the hood.
Okay.
I really would like to see if it would be a little bit more forward and a little bit more beefy, so that way it's easy whenever you catch it with your thumb to be able to get that release in. I feel like this is in a really good place to be able to quickly hit and then rock back. And it was honestly quick out of the holster. Just, you know, hitting that, getting that index each time right on there was a little bit more difficult.
So we tried to get you this as early as possible, kind of in the development. So it's obviously still a very early prototype, 3D printed parts, you know, minimally refined and things like that. So this is an updated model of the one that you have. As far as having that lever further forward, this is still not the latest model that we have. That lever is actually about 400 thousandths further forward. So almost a half an inch further forward. So
awesome.
But we did change the lever arm, so that's billet aluminum now, and that's how they will be production ready. But this is still an early prototype. Still got a lot of things in the works, but you know, as far as the beefiness, does that lever fix your qualms with?
I feel like it does. I feel like that's a wide enough button for you to be able to really get an index, consistent index each time.
Okay.
And especially if you say it's going to even be a little bit further forward, that still gives you that good immediate like master grip on the gun.
Yeah.
To really get the gun out and have a good grip on it.
Cool. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to force your hand to a location that's going to give you that master grip once the firearm's removed. So, you know, I know there's some issues with that initial draw and the location of the hand on the firearm. Is that something that you see in your training with law enforcement officers that aren't getting a good grip on their firearm?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most important things of shooting wise is getting that good master grip. And if you're not able to establish that first off, when you know those first few shots maybe off, you may need to readjust your grip in order to get good shot grouping.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's definitely kind of the main goal with this product, obviously, as well as giving the different, you know, features of retention. You know, we have to have a level 3, we have to have optics coverage. The hood over the top of the optic, we've gotten some requests for that. Is that something that your department requires, something over the top of the optic?
Yeah, just for the fact that we're, you know, running around chasing people, if we have to jump over pins and stuff, just want to make sure that optic's covered with that hood, so that way we're not having to replace optics.
Gotcha.
Break optics.
Yeah.
You know, optics are made really well, but I've already seen a couple break.
Okay.
Just from use and stuff like that, so it'd be really nice to have that extra protection.
Yeah.
Whenever we're running around and stuff.
How about over the top? So this overhead exposure right here, do you need something that covers that top end?
I don't feel the need. Currently, the holsters that we have don't offer that either. So I don't see that a need. We all run, most law enforcement runs like closed emitter optics anyway. So I think the main reason for that was to make sure you don't get water or dust or whatever on the optic. And we haven't really seen a big issue with that.
Okay.
So far.
Yeah, one of the things that I've, you know, at least was told from some departments further up north that they get a lot of snow, you know, while they're on patrol. And that snow can pack up. Now in our location here in North Carolina, it snows once, twice a year, maybe a dusting. So probably not an issue for this location. Now we do have a prototype that's got a hood up here, and we've got that hole in the top there. So, you know, one screw, this thing's gonna index off of these ribs on the side of the hood. And when you throw that forward, it's going to sit on the front. So it's actually gonna move with the hood.
Nice.
So it will be a box that we're able to check for some departments if they require it. You know, And as far as this button goes, so the plan is that we're gonna have multiple different options, right? And there's a screw on the inside right here that you can take out and switch this button. Is that something that you think is gonna be, a good feature, necessary feature, being able to switch these buttons out to kind of fit the user's hand is?
I think it will be. I mean, you see oftentimes that people make modifications to holsters.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really cool feature to have, that you actually offer that with several different buttons to be able to let the end user choose what works best for them.
Okay.
What they like best.
Gotcha. One of the other changes that we're looking at is what we're seeing is when you rock this forward, and now this is obviously going to be about a ½ inch further forward so that you can get real far forward on this. And when you come down and you actuate this ejection port lock lever with the webbing of your thumb, it's got to be rocked backwards. So what it does is it kind of pulls your hand away. It can, if you're not far enough forward on it. So we're looking at changing the operation to a push button here. So you're continuing to have a downward force. So you're going to roll forward and then you're just going to compress your grip. That button's going to go down. What do you think about that as a manipulation feature?
I think that'd be a good alternative for that. I mean, I know with doing dry fire with this, I felt like sometimes that I would miss rocking that button backwards.
Okay.
And so then you couldn't get it out. But I think if it was a push button, you could almost hit them at the same time if it was necessary.
Right.
Then be able to go out.
And that's definitely the idea. So what we want to do is obviously have a single motion.
Yeah.
But in our opinion, a level 3 must have 2 mechanical functions to break, right? So one level being the hood, second level there, and then third level is going to be, your friction retention. Now this is still an adjustable retention holster, so you can kind of tune that to the draw stroke that you want.
I think that's good, because if one of the biggest features for like the level 3, at least for us, is if we're on the ground fighting with somebody and they're able to get their hands on it and press that first button, it's not going to be a natural thing for them to immediately be able to press the other button.
Right.
So that gives opportunity to still have that retention after the hood's dropped.
Right.
I think that's definitely a good feature to have.
Okay. Cool. Is there any other, maybe profile features that you'd like to see changed on this?
I think what you've done from just seeing this one, originally having this one, you've done a lot of the things that I would have liked to see, like we talked about, a little bit of a different angle on this, and then much more beefier for it's easier to index on.
Right.
Honestly think that push button would be really well. And another thing that I do like is all of y'all's holsters are made without like a weird cant. Like a lot of other holsters have like that awkward like forward cant, makes the draw stroke really weird, and then people have to buy aftermarket parts to get it adjusted to where it's like a natural draw stroke. So I think you guys did a great job with this.
Cool, appreciate it. Yeah, and cant angle will be adjustable on the attachment. We offer a full suite of different attachments and all those things, including the bridge. So if your department required that you use a QLS board or something like that, you can still adapt that to this product. So, okay, man. Well, I appreciate all your feedback. I think, that gives us a good leg to stand on continuing with our design. I'm going to get you a couple more prototypes to tech, and I should have about 4 of these coming up very soon with the aluminum lever and all that stuff. So, need you to put it through its paces, and we'll sit down and do this again. Cool. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro.
Thank you.
And then the spring pressure comes from inside there.
That's such a good sound when it locks in.
Yeah. It's good, man.
Yeah.
And having that automatic lock as opposed to like throwing it in and having to rock that hood forward.
Yep. That'd be good to try to roll with some too. Because I've rolled with the other one. Nobody's gotten out of my holster yet. But with that single button, like if you hit that button, and somebody grabs it, it's coming out. But it'd be cool to roll with one and see.
Oh yeah, a little jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is detented down, so when it sits forward, there's a spring and a ball that holds it in the down position. So if you're running and your hood's down, like this thing's not going to move up by itself.
Yeah, I like that too. Even like for the tactical games too, because then when you're running around, and I'll like I think while I was at your house one time, like one of the first times I came over, I forgot to throw that hood back up, and I had my retention like really loose. You remember, like,
right? Yeah, it just
comes out.
So
having that like click and you feel it go in.
It's definitely nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other things, and I don't know if I've mentioned it to you or not, but this is a 2-stage lever. So what the first stage does is it unlocks the hood. So as this rocks forward, this lock is getting released from the base of the hood. And then, so this one here is sprung forward, right? So it moves fast. And a lot of the other hoods on the market are manually operated. Okay. Right. So they're kind of slow. They're going to move with your thumb.
Yeah.
But one of the benefits to the manually operating thing is if Garmin or something gets in the way, this thing's going to stop.
Yeah.
But your thumb is obviously a lot stronger than a 36-pound spring, which we put very strong springs in here. So it does move Garmin, but not as much as, you're able to apply, 100 pounds of force or more with your thumb. So, but I still wanted a fast moving hood. I wanted it to be sprung forward. So what we were able to do is basically put a sprung hood with manual override. So this thing will rock forward fast. It does have a spring on it. Now, part of the design challenge was to get that spring to die at the bottom, because otherwise this is going to come back up and it's going to get in the way of your ejection port lock. So this actually dies forward. And what you're still able to do, so if Garmin gets in the way and the spring stops, this, if you continue to press forward, is going to push it out of the way. Yeah, so it's a sprung hood with manual override.
That's nice. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, because you can feel that last bit of...
Yep. Yeah, so there is some spring movement that's still going to bring that button up slightly, but it's about 8 degrees of movement. Yeah. So it still dies at it's 25 degree total movement. So, you're talking 17 degrees forward. Yeah. It's going to die at.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. All right, man. I know you got that baby you got to get back to. Yeah. Appreciate you doing this.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.